make sure that it's all going okay and whatnot. So, but it says that we're live, so it should be on YouTube in about 10 seconds. All right, let me just check. It'd help if I didn't have everything open. Yep, says we're live. All right, hasn't come up yet though. There we go. All righty. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dusty Book Sniffers. This is the Middlemarch reading sprints. My lovely co-host with me tonight is Maria from Read Fine Books, and we are going to be tackling book 2 of Middlemarch, and we'll probably have a bit of a discussion about what's happened in book 1, but we are definitely going into book 2. So if you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it. Also, give us a thumbs up while you're down there. I'm not sure how long we're going to be sticking around for, but we do try to get at least halfway through a volume before we head off. I don't know what your schedule's like this morning for you, Maria, but it's 6 o'clock in the evening here in Australia, and I believe it's 10 a.m. where you are, or 10:30?
Yep. No, 10 a.m. Yes.
Yep. Cool. All right. So, what sort of plan did you want to do today? Did you want to do 2 or 3 sprints, or how did you want to work it today?
Yeah, the usual 2 or 3
Yep,
sprints.
usual. All right. No worries.
The maximum for me would be 3 hours. 3 hours tops.
Yep.
But
no worries. Not a problem.
Maybe 2 hours is better.
I probably can only do 2 hours today.
Yeah, it's better.
I have a teenager that wants to watch TV, and she can't watch TV and stream while we're online. So I'll start getting messages at about the 2-hour mark going, hey, wrap it up.
Yeah, 2 hours is best.
So did you get book 1 finished?
Yeah.
Yep,
me too.
I did too.
I finished. I hadn't managed to finish the last time we read, but I finished it on my own. I loved book 1. I already read it before, I think twice by now. So ready for book 2.
Yeah, same. I'm ready for book 2. I made some notes, and they make no sense. I've just gone just before we got on live, I sort of was reading over my notes. They make no sense whatsoever. They're all over the place because they're just thoughts that have been coming into my mind, and we've had a little bit of a discussion happening over in the Discord as well. And I think Mano, I forget the name of the Discord member now, but they were talking about the prelude, and why was no one discussing that? And I thought about it, and I'm like, I think because it was so brief, we just sort of skipped over it, and and the fact that there is so much in that prelude that sets you up for the story, especially for book 1, and about Dorothea and all that sort of stuff. And I went back and I read it after we had this conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, we probably should have discussed that a little bit more, because there is a lot of comparisons of Dorothea wanting to find that perfect life essentially, and rise to that, and how she goes about it and all that sort of stuff. And then when I've gone back and looked through my notes, I'm like, I really need to start taking notes a little bit better, because this makes no sense at all. But I'm thoroughly enjoying the book, even though this is the second time I'm reading it. I am really enjoying it. I'm picking up all those little bits that I missed the first time around, and whatnot. So how's your experience been on the second round?
Yeah, same here. I really enjoyed the details and the references, and it's fun. Meaning there's no pressure to read fast. You can just enjoy the second time around, and love it.
I really liked it. I didn't think that I was going to like it as much the second time around, but I just know from my first reading, it was so quick. I read it, I had it going in my ear. I barely picked up the actual physical book because I was busy at the time. And now that we're just doing it a little bit over 2 months, because it was originally published over a 2-month period. So we're sticking to that original schedule is making it so much easier. And both of us, I don't know about the other people that are reading along with us, but both of us are only reading it when we're on these live sprints. So it's making us slow right. Well, it's making me slow right down. With a couple of the other books that we're doing in this format, it's driving me mental because I want to just keep going, but it's there. I can
Yeah.
keep going. But
you can
yeah,
actually see how people read it before and how it can stir up conversations. Meaning, I think it's better this way to take things a bit slower and talk more, because I guess the purpose of reading isn't just to taking in books; it's also talking about them. I think that makes them even more interesting.
definitely, because there's
Hmm.
sometimes, especially when you're reading it as a group too, like we've got you and I are talking about it, but there's also other people that are reading along with
Mm-hmm.
us, and they may come and watch this. I know some of our American friends will come and watch this after the event because they're all sleeping right now, but um, basically they'll come and watch it, and there might be things that they miss that they pick up from the conversation, even though they're reading along with us, and it's a really good way to really understand what you're reading when you've got a group of different people coming at it at all different angles and
Mm-hmm.
different um, places in the world and different outlooks and interpretations and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I really like the fact that we've slowed it right down. I wasn't too sure how it was going to go because I like to fit as much in as I can, but I'm actually thoroughly enjoying reading it this way. It's just a great way to read it. I will
Mm-hmm.
say though, sometimes I have problems with my camera and it'll just turn off. I'm still here. I can still hear everything. You'll still be able to hear me, but I don't know. I think I've got a faulty wire in it and I've got to get a new one. So if I disappear, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
so we've
no
just had
worries.
Drew Demano is the person that we were talking to over in the Discord, and just saying less is more, less is more, and slow is fast. That's exactly right. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't felt like the Count of Monte Cristo. I'm reading that in the same way. We're doing 10 chapters at a time, and I find that we get to that stopping point and I want to keep going because something really good is
Yeah.
happening. And it's like, oh my God, at the first 10 chapters, Nick killed me having to stop. And like, it was a whole month before I was going to get back to it again. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to go. But I'm really starting to settle down into it. And this month we've got Pickwick Papers starting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's only like 50 pages for the each time. It's not a lot with that one.
Yes.
So yeah, we've
Yes,
got a few.
the Count of Monte Cristo really killed me. I think I also forgot all about it by now. Meaning, I have to get back into the 10 chapters again, and that will make it fun. I think that as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I actually with the Count of Monte Cristo, I ended up reading the last two chapters before, like chapter 9 and 10 again, and
Mm-hmm.
then I went
Yeah.
into chapter. So the
Yeah.
night before, I just read those two chapters, and that just refreshed my memory of what was happening, because a lot happens in those chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so and then we went into the next, and then I'm right. I pretty much, except for about I think it was about maybe 1.5 chapters, read right through in the reading sprint for the Count of Monte Cristo because like I was just getting right into it. Great book, absolutely great book, like this one, and it'll be another one that I'll revisit as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Probably not next year, maybe in a couple of years down the track, but not like we've done with this one where we've pretty much started it straight away. So yeah. All right. Well, we've been chit-chatting for about 10 minutes. We might go into our first sprint. I've got it set up for 45 minutes. Does that sound okay for you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool. No worries. So we have, I'll just add to the stream and then I'll pop it over and start it. We've got a and a library today. All right. So, yeah, so that started. We'll see you all in 45
45.
minutes. Happy
Mm-hmm.
reading, everybody.
Happy reading.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. How did everybody go with what they were reading? I know that there's a few people that are reading other than what we're reading. So,
Mm-hmm.
how'd you go?
Uh, I I read a chapter and a half only.
I ended up I'm about 2 pages into chapter 15.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm still in chapter 14.
Yeah. I've only just gone into it. It's just, he's just taught, we're just sort of learning a little bit more about Litgate right now, and about his
Mm-hmm.
passion for the medical side of things and all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah. There's a couple of little bits in there that I've highlighted that I just found really quite funny, just the way he was thinking and perceiving about life, and like books are stuff and life is stupid, and just little things that he says throughout when we're learning about him. I can see that Valdania is joining us as well. Hey hun, how you going? Thanks for joining.
Hi.
And West Aussie Diamond Art is also joined us as well. So we've got a few people that are in the background there. So yeah. All right. The part about Fred and the debt, I didn't even remember that reading that about that the first time. Like, I knew that he was in debt, but I didn't realize how he was trying to get money from his relations, like, and the rumor that was going around. I had completely missed it in the first time around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's in the last chapters. I I don't remember very well where, but yeah, I remember his uncle Featherstone conditioning him to get a letter that get the letter from Bulstrode.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't realize, like, because Featherstone is the one that's got all the money, is that right? Or he's the one
Mm-hmm.
that's about to die and leave the land. And
Yeah,
so the rumor was that Fred was going around borrowing money because he owes someone else £160.
yeah,
Going around borrowing money to pay back that debt, but it's not working for him, obviously. And then his father went to Bulstrode, which is his brother-in-law or something, because he's married to
yeah.
Bulstrode's sister. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. And yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize he owed that much money. Like, I was like, oh wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it seems like a lot, but yeah, I guess it might be that in fact he had borrowed money on his prospects. Because
Yeah.
I find it difficult for others to believe he had this kind of money if not for his inheritance, future inheritance possibilities.
But there seems like a little bit of doubt whether he is actually going to inherit the property or not, because Featherstone seems like a really grumpy dude, and is like like dangling carrots in front of him. And when he gave him the £100, Fred thought it was more, and then Featherstone made him count it out, and he was trying to conceal his disappointment. And I'm like, that's just mean.
Yes,
And
yes.
poor Mary, like, she's got the rough end of the stick as well with Featherstone. He seems to be very grumpy towards her as well.
Yeah, he's quite the character. He seems to really enjoy having money and tormenting every one of his relatives about it, because he's very much aware that everyone wants his money. And I guess it's also kind of entertaining for him as well, because what else has he got to do? So, yeah. Why
Yeah,
not?
like it does seem a little bit like that. I'm just going to tease all these people and for my own entertainment. And like, and
Mhm.
just the way the scene plays out, where he goes to Mary, get me my waistcoat, and Fred goes, "Oh, let me help you with that," and he's like, "No, she can do it," and then makes her put it down, and then he slowly draws the key out and slowly brings the tin out and opens it, and then fondles the money before he gives any to Fred, and just like, yeah, like you said, he's getting so much satisfaction from flaunting that
Yeah,
to them. It's just like, yeah. So,
yeah. He even says it to Fred. He's not satisfied that Fred doesn't want to count the money. He says something that you take the money like a lord, you must spend them like a lord as well. So
yep,
he really wants to get satisfaction from lending money.
grumpy old dude that's got nothing better to do with his time than torment everybody.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
But it's a quite a funny, like, you sort of start giggling to yourself because you can see what he's doing, and as the reader, you're seeing what he's doing, and it is quite comical, and how everybody's sort of trying to appease him, thinking that they're like, yeah, it cracks me up. And like Lydgate, um, being a medical man and all that sort of stuff, he's studied in different parts of England and in Paris, and just he wants to rise to greatness. Like we're just sort of covering that sort of area in chapter 15, where why shouldn't he rise to greatness? Why shouldn't he pursue and be good at what he does and all the rest of it? Whereas other people think that he's, for lack of a better term, full of himself for wanting that. But I don't know, like I'd rather be at the top of my profession than at the bottom.
I guess he's also viewed as a stranger. So the first impressions will always be a bit circumspect about
Hmm.
him, um, not trusting him directly. So, of course, the first impression should be a bit negative, and that's it.
Yeah. So
But
we've just
he's,
had a couple other people.
yeah,
Go.
go on.
Yeah.
No, go
A
on.
couple of people have joined us. They're just saying they're happy that they found someone that's doing sprints. I don't know what time zone you're in, but for me, it's nearly 10 a.m. So, and he's currently reading the fifth season, and I'm assuming that they are in your time zone, Maria. So,
Yeah, it's a bit. Uh, I think they're in about London or something like that, because
yep.
in my time zone is near. It's now it's 11 o'clock, 11 a.m.
Okay.
So they are nearly 10 a.m. An hour behind. That's
So that would
around
be UK
London.
area.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
UK, Spain,
Yep. I'm in
perhaps.
Australia. If, and it's like
Mhm.
it's 7 o'clock at night for me. It's very dark outside. And Valdania
Yeah.
is writing her thesis and drinking coffee. Her day has just started. So, yeah, mine's just about to
Mhm.
end soon.
Mhm.
Alrighty. So, and West Australia, Diamond, she's where I am. She's actually at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon because Western Australia is 2 hours behind me. I'm in Queensland. So, yeah, time zones everywhere.
Yeah, it's weird. I had no idea Australia is that big to have time
Yeah.
zones.
Yeah, we do have time zones, and we also have daylight saving time. So, I'm on the eastern side of Australia. So you've got Queensland, which is Australian Eastern Standard Time. Then you've got um, New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania are all an hour ahead of me because they're in daylight saving time, summertime. And then South Australia has a different time zone. So we actually have three time zones. So we've got
Mhm.
Eastern, we've got Central, and then we've got Western Australia because
Oh.
we're huge. Okay, so Ars Magical Librarium is in Germany,
Yeah,
so she's quite
that's
close.
a lot closer. Yes.
Yeah, and Valdania's in Germany too. So, but she's from Greece.
Oh.
So yeah. Well, there you go. Well, I'm glad that we have some sprint for you guys. So Because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
time it's like I do my normal sprints during the day on a Friday. I do them at 10 a.m., which is you're fast asleep then. It's till midnight,
Yes.
after midnight. So yeah. All right. Well, we might cut to another
Yeah.
sprint and get some more reading done. We'll go for another 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Does that sound?
but we
Yep.
haven't talked a lot at all about Bulstrode. The
Oh
and
yes, yes. I
uh,
forgot about him. We won't go to Bulstrode. What is his deal? Like, does he not like Fred?
um, I really don't know. I think he just doesn't like Vince's at all. He doesn't
Mm.
like his wife's relations. Uh,
Ah, that's yeah. Because I wasn't sure,
mm,
like I wasn't sure of the connection. And then there was a part that I read where he said that it was his brother-in-law. So I'm
mhm.
assuming like, and he's a clergyman. Is that right? Have I got the right path there?
No, no.
Not
So,
not Halstead Vinci, isn't he a clergyman?
so Vincy's are manufacturers, and
Ah, okay.
Vincy will become or is already a mayor. His
Ah,
wife, his wife is related to Peter Featherstone in some way,
yep.
and he is related to Harriet. Harriet being Bulstrode's wife.
Ah, okay. So that's
So,
the connection. Yeah. All right.
yes.
I was like, yeah.
So,
There's a lot of
uh,
characters happening and a lot of
mhm.
connections, and you can really miss them very quickly.
Yeah, and oh, I don't trust bankers. So,
Yeah. So Drew Demano is over in our Discord, and we've been talking during the week, and I'd have to agree with that. He is very much um, another Teresa, and yeah,
um,
intriguing and unsettling at the same
yeah,
time, but maybe not so
uh,
much unsettling.
he's like he's another Saint Teresa in the way that he wants to pursue a greater goal. He
Mm,
wants to be recognized, be I don't know. He doesn't. I don't know if he actually wants to save the world as he wants to be recognized for his achievements.
yeah.
But Saint Teresa, I think, uh, is more about Dorothea because it mixes religion in all this character building and uh, Dorothea is the one who actually believes in religion. Lydgate, not so much. He doesn't.
No,
I
well,
don't think
men
he
of science generally don't. In a lot of ways, they don't.
yeah.
They're not very
Yes,
religious at all. And
and
yeah,
he
so
and he actually says here in the chapter where he talks with Bulstrode that he doesn't want to give his opinion. He doesn't care about who manages the hospital from the
mm,
spiritual point of view. If it's Mr. Tide, he's the Bulstrode's pick, or the other one.
mhm, mm,
So he doesn't care which minister is there. He just wants the hospital to um, make medicine and
yeah, and
test
also to
things out
move
on
medicine
people.
forward. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
don't trust bankers. I don't think many people do trust bankers, to be honest, even today.
Yeah. But I find interesting that Bulstrode says something about that he, though he wants to be a better man, he says that one can be a better man when meeting a new person like Lydgate. He wouldn't have been involved in a hospital if he uh, wouldn't have an ulterior reason for it. And I'm not sure which is that reason. He isn't
Mm,
very clear in that, but he really has an ulterior motive for funding a hospital. He wouldn't have done it otherwise.
Is it because that he can see that he can make money from it?
I don't think so. He gives money to it. I think
Mm.
he's more interested in converting people, um, things like that. I think that's why he wants his religious man at the um, in the management position.
So Drew's just saying that Butler Gate wants to be a change agent, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, he wants to change the world for sure.
Yeah.
Pay for his sins, Leadgate, or who do you mean? Uh, Drew says pay for his sins. Are you
Yeah, I
talking
don't
about Leadgate or Bulstrode?
I think it's Bulstrode is because he's done some questionable things, maybe, and that's a way to give him to make it to
Mm-hmm.
make him look better in the public eye, sort of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes people don't do charity for the right reasons; they do it for selfish reasons. And Bulstrode might be one of those people that does it for selfish reasons, not for the right reasons.
Yeah,
So
but yeah,
yeah,
I know. So
cool.
is charity bad if done for bad reasons? That is a interesting conversation.
Alrighty, well, we
um,
might go to another sprint.
mm-hmm.
Yep, cool, awesome. Let me just get it started again. Oh, where are we? Pause, restart. All right, I'm getting the hang of it. I'm getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I'll see everybody in 45. Happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading. I can't hear you.
There we go. It
Yeah,
wouldn't click
better
off.
now.
That's better. You can hear now. Oh, there you go. How did everybody go? Let us know how you went in the comments. Yeah, I ended up having to go and make a cup of tea because it's getting late here and I'm starting to fall asleep. So how'd you go?
I am at chapter 16, but only started it.
Yeah, I am.
I
I
read a
think I'm
bit
about 3 or
slow.
4 pages into chapter 16 as well. I'm just
Mhm.
up to where they're having the dinner party. Lydgate's there and he's chit
Mhm.
chatting with the Rosman and yeah. And Bulstrode, yeah, no, he's not someone to be trusted. I'm with Drew on that. Don't trust bankers. Because it just,
Yeah, well.
like, in that chapter, I'm pretty sure it's in that chapter, yeah, where it comes to light that um, he he seems to have a lot of private loans with people.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
not even through the bank, just privately, and like, yeah, going on about what he knows about their finances and all that sort of stuff.
I think he wants to have the power, and the fact that he can give private loans and then know all about what they did with the money, how they spend it, and their financial situation as well gives him all the power.
Yeah, yeah. He's craving that power over everybody, and he's quite
Mhm.
judgmental too. Like he's quite quick to point out their faults and everything as well. Like in previous chapters, he's always
Yeah.
pointing out their faults and what they should be doing or shouldn't be doing. That so
Yeah.
yeah, he's just not a nice guy.
Well,
So we've got Carly's
yeah.
just saying that she just joined in the last sprint and she's currently trying to finish the Count of Monte Cristo by
Oh.
tomorrow. We've only just started it and we're reading it very, very slowly. Don't tease us.
Yes.
So I suppose we should talk a little bit about what the Serialised Book Club is. Um,
Mhm.
so for those that don't know, this particular reading sprint, and we have a Count of Monte Cristo, and we'll also in March have a Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens reading sprint as well. And it's for the Serialised Book Club. And what that means is that we are reading a lot of the classics that are big chunkster books, such as The Count of Monte Cristo. And we've broken it down into a serialized format, how they were originally published back in the day. So tonight's one is about Middlemarch, and we are reading this monthly. We do a live stream, and Maria joins us, and
Mhm.
we chit chat because we're only reading it on the live sprints. So we'll read as much as we can for this one, and then next time we have another one, before we go on to book 3, we'll try and finish book 2. And because Middlemarch it was bi-monthly that it came out, so each volume came out every 2 months. And the Count of Monte Cristo, I couldn't find an original publication for that. Um, and how many pages it was and whatnot. So we basically went for 10 chapters each month over the course of
Mhm.
2023. So yeah, and then the Pickwick Papers, which starts next month, there's only about 50. I think it's only like 35 pages is the first installment, and then it gets a little bit bigger as we go on. Um, and we're doing that over 20 months because that was the original publication. It started in the March, and so we're doing it exactly how it was back then. And I don't know if I could speak for everybody, but I know that a couple of people that of my friends here, we are struggling with not just keeping going on. So it's actually, it must have been so hard back in the day when they left things on a cliffhanger and you just wanted to know more. But as Maria said earlier, it does actually um, get us to start talking about it a little bit more and, yeah, and strike up conversation and whatnot. So,
Mhm.
Oh, look, she's teasing us again. She has 8 hours and 80 minutes left to go on the audio. Oh, I don't wanna know. Oh. So yeah, that's what the Serialized Book Club is about, and we have a Discord down, and it's all underneath this video. So if you want to come and join in the conversation, because we do talk about the books over in the Discord, it's sort of just starting to get its flow over there now, because it is relatively new. We only started in December, whatnot.
Mhm.
So yeah, so come over, join in the fun, have a bit of a discussion. But for those that are reading the Count of Monte Cristo, you can also join in the conversation too, but don't give away spoilers. So yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to just diving into a lot of these books. It's going to be nice to, as you said, to slow it down, start up the conversation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I've been talking with Drew over in the Discord as well about Middlemarch, and I mean he inspired me to go back and read the
Very
prelude
good.
because I
Mhm.
glossed over it. I honestly just glossed over it. I didn't really think about the relevance of it, and it wasn't until we talked about it and then I read it and then I thought about what I had read in the first one, in the first book, that actually had prevalence to me, that it made sense, because at first I like, what's this sort of got to do with it? But yeah.
I think it's the same with the epigraphs that are in front of every chapter. That you read them very shallowly,
Yeah.
in a very shallow manner, but then if you go back, they start to make more sense.
Mm. Yeah, and that's what I've been doing. That's why I have my both copies, because we know that this one is poorly printed, and those
Mhm.
epigraphs are not readable at all. Like I'll show you, um, just for those that don't know. There's the epigraph there, and it's
Oh.
all misprinted and whatnot, because
Mhm.
this was a reprinted copy, and I only paid, I think, like $15 for this or something. But I have, when I get to a chapter, I have this here, and so I've got my little ribbon at each chapter when I'm coming up to it, and so I'll read it in here, and then I'll go back to it after I've read a chapter, think about it a little bit. Um, I haven't read a lot of classics, so some of them where they're referring to other classics and whatnot, I haven't got to those yet, so they don't necessarily make sense to me in some ways, but in other ways
Mhm.
they do. I love how George Eliot drops in little nuggets of references to like Shakespeare and other authors and stuff like that. Like I know the references, but I haven't read a lot of the books or anything like that because I
Yeah.
avoided the classics like the plague, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read much of what she talks about here as well. I haven't read
Mm.
them. They are. I think they were famous at her time, but I don't think they are all famous now.
No, no.
I mean, of course, Shakespeare, right? But not everything she talks about is famous now. So
Mm.
I'm not even sure if it's worth reading.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
But
It depends.
we'll
Maybe
see.
listen to, maybe
Yeah.
not sit down and read it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think there are so many classics that are really worth reading. Obscure references, not so sure.
Yeah. True. I guess so, yeah. It was like the ones that we've been reading as well, like over in your
Mhm.
Discord and whatnot. Like, I was so surprised by the Tenet of Wildfell Hall. Have you finished that yet?
Mhm. No, still no, but I will. I
That's all
will
good.
definitely. um, I I uh, I love the way the Bronte sisters write. Uh, it's wonderful. I just haven't got the time to do it now. But yeah,
I had never
it's
read
coming.
the Bronte sisters, as you know, and I wanted to read
Hmm.
them with someone. And I must admit that the Tenet of Wildfell Hall is up there with Jane Eyre for me.
Hmm.
Like Jane Eyre is my favourite, as it is for most people, but I honestly think that The Tenant of Wildfell Hall is up there for me. I really, really enjoyed it. I love the themes behind it. Um, the fact that well, I'm not going to tell you because have you read it before?
uh, I think I started it when I was little, but I haven't finished it back then
Yeah.
either. I don't know why.
Okay.
Mm,
Fair enough.
but
Fair
I read most of the Brontes when I was little, so I don't know what happened to this one.
enough. Well, as I said, I hadn't read any of them, so I've got all
Mhm.
the other ones ready to go.
But
The
what
next
I
one.
want to say is that I loved them when I was little. For example, Jane Eyre, I read it before, but now I loved it even more. I liked it before, but I liked Pride and Prejudice better. And now I love Jane Eyre a lot more. It has a lot more things in it, more interesting things. Wuthering Heights as well. They seem a lot more interesting now than just Pride and Prejudice, and it is shocking to me because Pride and Prejudice is my favorite book, and now to have books that uh, I already read when this at the same time when I read Pride and Prejudice, and now I appreciate these more than Pride and Prejudice. It's weird.
When when I read Wuthering Heights, like you hear what people say, oh, it's a love story, this, that,
Hmm.
and the other, and I'm reading it, I'm like, this is so not a love story. This is so not a great book. Like it's a good book, it's a good story, but it's a
Yeah.
story where you love to hate the characters. For me, that's what
Hmm.
it was, and it
Hmm.
was just like, oh, so many
Yeah,
times I
but
wanted to
that
hurl the book across the room.
that is what makes it a lot more interesting. It makes you think about more things than just the love story. So
That was not a love story. It was a very toxic one. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm not a fan of Jane Austen. I've read all her
Mm.
work. I think I've read all of her works except for Lady Susan. Um, I personally am not a huge fan of hers. Like her writing's fine and all the rest of it, and I appreciate them for what they are. But the more I read of other people, the more she's going down the scale for me.
Mm.
I prefer, like, over Jane Eyre, I prefer the Bronte sisters all day, every day. Um, but I have one of my friends has said to me that, you have to reread them. And
Hmm.
so I said, all right, I will reread them. So is it Jane Austen July that they have on BookTube?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, so
something like that.
in July, I'm going to
Hmm.
read Jane Austen. And I'm going to read all her books. I'm just going to read them back to back and I'll make my judgment again. I don't think that I'm going to be swayed, but she seems to think that I will. I do love Northanger Abbey, and I really enjoyed Persuasion as well. Like those two, out of all her books, I prefer those than um, than Pride and Prejudice. And Emma I used as um, I was going through some insomnia at the time, so every time felt like I needed to go, I'd pick up Emma, and within a chapter, like not even a full chapter, I'd be fast asleep.
I have friends who love Emma a lot more than Pride and Prejudice, and like I
Yeah, no,
don't agree, but we'll see.
no, I
Um,
do not agree with that. No, it's just, yeah, I think it was, yeah, no, it just wasn't for me. It just, yeah. But Northanger Abbey, I really enjoyed. I liked
mhm,
Persuasion. Mansfield Park was okay. Um,
mhm.
but if I had to rank them, I would go Northanger Abbey, Persuasion, Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and then Mansfield Park, and last Emma. Emma's not even on the tier; she's out. But yeah, that
Yeah.
if I had to rank them, that's how I'd rank them. So it'll be interesting to see if I change my mind when I read them in
Mhm.
July, because I have them all here, so I can. And I've got them on audio as well. Um, And I'm thinking, because I didn't actually have the physical books when I first listened to them, like I didn't read along with it. So I'm wondering if I would get a better appreciation of reading along while listening, like I do with everything else. I just, when I read
Mm,
those back then, I didn't have the physical copies, but I've been slowly getting some secondhand ones and just putting them on my shelf. Yeah, and I mean, eventually I'll get the cloth bound ones, but yeah, I'm just wondering if that would change my experience anymore, because I do really enjoy reading along while listening to it, because I get a better appreciation of the language and the story and all that. And so I may have, you know, not been really paying attention to the books when I was listening to
mm,
them because I was doing other stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And I'll have to go back onto my craft channel, because that's where I reviewed them, because I used to do booktube over there on a Monday while I was cross
mm.
stitching. I'd talk about the books that I had read, and I did that for almost a year. So I've got a ton of reviews over there from
Oh.
2021, that because I didn't start my booktube channel until last year in 2022 of March. So I've got a whole heap of books. Like in 2021, I think I read 108 books or something. So I've reviewed all them over there. I've talked about them. So I'll have to go over
Uh,
and get the audio off that and do the comparison and see whether I like them any better or not. So yeah, it'd be interesting.
mhm,
And Carly's saying she can't wait to read the Bronte sister books. Very good books. I've enjoyed everything that I've read so far. Even I finished Angus Gray as well. I enjoyed that as well. I've still got to review
mhm,
it. Um, Yeah, I enjoyed that. I actually didn't even I just fell into that story. I didn't even annotate or anything like I have been
mhm,
with the books. I didn't take down any notes or anything. And I'm thinking that I might even revisit that one again and take a few more notes and whatnot. But I, yeah, just fell into the story. Absolutely loved it. And yeah,
mhm.
the Tenant of Wildfell Hall, love, 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 love. Yeah, over Wuthering Heights, most definitely, and it's
I've
right up there with Jane Eyre.
recently read a romance book. I'm not Charlotte Lucas, and I actually enjoyed it a lot. It's like um, not a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, but a romance that has uh, Pride and Prejudice references, lots of them. Have you read
Mhm.
things like that? Modern, completely modern, just with references to old books. I think I love this kind of readings. I really, really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
So it's like
What was
about a
that called?
girl. I'm not Charlotte Lucas.
Okay, I'll have to go and have a look at that one.
Yeah, it was on NetGalley. It's quite new, but I I was surprised. Like it's um very modern, just like any other romance. It just has the references to Pride and Prejudice, to things happening there. It's like it's a bit of parallel to that, but it uses like the insecurities of Charlotte Lucas, the way she actually chooses the secure path in life, and I don't know, it's the way the author put that in the modern day seemed lovely. So I think next for July Austen, I think I'm going to read some retellings of Pride and Prejudice
Yeah,
or
yeah,
books from Jane Austen, but in modern setting. I think
yeah.
those would be great.
That'd be a good idea, because then at least then it's, as you said, you're enjoying the modern take on it,
Hmm.
and yeah, why not to do a little bit of a twist on it and whatnot. So yeah. All right. Well, we haven't really discussed much about Middlemarch at this point, but then we hadn't really
Uh,
read that much either.
Miss Lucas, something Drew says, Miss Lucas, in the comments.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Check out the comment.
Miss Lucas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, this was a book that is called I'm Not Charlotte Lucas, and it is
Oh, okay,
about it is a romance, modern romance, contemporary,
cool.
but
All right,
nothing more.
so we'll do another. This will be our last sprint.
Oh, no, I think we have to close now. You
Yep,
said two
yep.
hours.
Close off. Yep, yep. No worries. Yeah, because it's getting on there, and you've got to get on with your
Mhm.
day, and it's getting very late for me. So basically, we will Maria and I will converse a little bit further, and find out when we're both available for our next reading sprint. But if you subscribe to the channel, on the homepage, you will see all my up and coming reading sprints for the Count of Monte Cristo, for Middlemarch, Pickwick Papers, and just reading and productivity sprints every Friday. So just make
Mhm.
sure that you subscribe to the channel. Also, head over to Maria's channel and subscribe to her channel as well. And I will leave all the information to both our channels and Discords down underneath this video. I'd like to say thank you for joining us yet again, Maria. I really appreciate you being here. And
Thank you.
thank you to all that joined us in the comments and read along with us. And we
Mhm.
will see you next time.
Bye.
See
Bye.
you later, everybody. Bye.